Faces in the crowd tonight. A lot of familiar faces in the crowd. Familiar, of course, to Jeffrey Epstein's pilot. I see you. Yeah, a few of you have been to Epstein's Island. Don't be bashful. Pretty much everyone here tonight flew in on a private jet, as per usual. I will say, everybody in this room probably released more gas than Klaus Schwab's stinky ass. Klaus, I see you over there, Klaus. Also, we got our man of the hour tonight, Idris Elba. Everybody, big round of applause for Idris Elba. Idris Elba, yeah, I guess because you couldn't get to be James Bond in the movies, I figured you just come and hang out with some real-life supervillains. I'm not sure if Idris Elba, if you're getting paid to be here tonight, or if your payment is Klaus Schwab just letting you see your family ever again.
It's funny because it's true. And who would have thought the Davos Group doesn't like comedy? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and things are getting very, very, very serious, especially when it comes to all the global protests happening right now and the current situation that the President of the United States is facing, as things are becoming a little bit of a explosive in Washington, D.C. We're going to be talking about that, as well as all the protests happening around the world, all here on this independent media broadcast. And if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. The clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by the very talented Danny Polishuk, who is an awesome comedian. I really like his work. He has a YouTube channel that has way too little subscribers for the comedy that he puts out there, and that's why we're going to be linking his YouTube channel down in the description below. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel, what are you waiting for? Seriously, comedy, laughing is critically important right now during these very difficult times, since of course it's a lot better than just crying. There's lots of things to cry about. There's lots of things to be sad about. But hey, don't be a Debbie Downer. Go on Danny Polishuk's YouTube channel and at least let's laugh at the insanity that, of course, all of us are facing in this modern-day technocratic 1984 hellscape. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. Just like people in France who can't help themselves to protest, as of course there has been a lot of protests in France historically, as of course right now there was over 1 million people that came out to the streets of Paris, France, protesting the government's austerity measures there, as the local government is planning to increase the retirement age from 62 to 64. This, as of course life expectancy has been going up for certain groups of people, not all people. Actually, for some people it's been going down dramatically, as well as the replacement levels, as well as the fertility rates. But hey, that's a different story for a different day. And hey, they have a barbecue grill train in Paris, France during the protest. And if you're going to protest, at least protest on a full belly. This as more clashes in Lima, Peru have been becoming more and more violent. Many protesters have actually died, as the situation in Peru is very politically turbulent and there's many different power plays unfolding in that country. This as the former president of Peru was overthrown and is now being investigated for charges of rebellion and conspiracy. This as some people still insist that he is the legitimate president of that country, and I've heard that somewhere. Where have I heard that before? And in other news in the United States, there are protests in Atlanta, Georgia. This as there has been some property destruction, police cars lit on fire, as well as fireworks being pelted, with violent confrontations between protesters and police officers after a very crazy event that unfolded a couple days ago at an Antifa autonomous zone, where police officers cleared an encampment and then engaged in a gunfight that took the life of one Antifa member. Antifa decided to respond to all of this by calling for, quote, a night of rage, which led to scenes like this that were unfolding on the streets of Atlanta. Now, what exactly happened in this autonomous zone? Who was responsible? What happened there when there was their shootout? Well, we still don't know, as of course we keep getting just a little bit of details of the actual events unfolding here, and we're gonna wait until there's a further investigation here, until we find out all the details of exactly what happened here before jumping to conclusions. All of this as, unironically, local news reports of this incident called it, quote, largely peaceful. Yes, I'm not kidding you. Those were the words of a local anchor in Atlanta that said this, as there was a police cruiser right behind him on fire.
a protest initially to try to protest what happened on Wednesday here, where they were handing out that vehicle still up in flames here over at Andrew Young and Peachtree. And if you take a look over here, if you pan over, I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at that protest. So it was a largely peaceful protest where they just wanted what they're calling justice for so sorry.
Yeah, that was mostly peaceful, just like our t-shirts are mostly not offensive, which you could get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Sorry there, cheesy plug there, but every Sunday I like to promote the shirts because this is one way of just doing a lazy, actual peaceful form of activism when it comes to spurring critical thinking in your neighborhood, at your local bank, at your local grocery store. I personally love to wear shirts like this in order to start conversations with people around me about the absurdity of our modern day society and just how ridiculous it is. And if you're looking to find like-minded friends, neighbors, community representatives, or foes, one of the best ways to do that is through our t-shirts. We just launched a bunch of them. We usually launch 1 or 2 new shirts a week. We got another one in the works that should be out either later on today or tomorrow. This one's one of my favorite. It's against seed oils. We also have a members only shirt. That's a different version of this one. That's pretty creative. We, of course, have the gas stove come and take it shirt. That's also pretty popular as well, with the latest World Economic Forum Biden administration talking points. And there's some other shirts that we, of course, cannot show you here on this particular broadcast. And if you want to see the full lineup of what we got, again, check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Also a way to keep us going and running as an independent media organization. And if you're a member of our private quasi-organization, don't forget, you also get t-shirts at cost. You get a t-shirt of the month and other exclusive designs that are available to you at the reduced rate, with virtually zero profit to us, all by just going into our members only store. And there are a lot of topics that I can't wait to talk about on tomorrow's members area segment, specifically when it relates to the big admission by Elon Musk that just happened a few moments ago. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all later on tomorrow on lukeandsetzer.com. See you there. Now, let's talk about our main segment today, and that, of course, is the puppet politicians that some people think really, truly do call the shots here. As you can see, my dog really doesn't like that puppet politician noise, as I think it's important to understand here that even though a president comes and goes, a political party has influence in one election and then doesn't in another one, that the major overall policies really do not change. And I think this is important to understand here when it comes to understanding American politics and how there's a deep-seated bureaucracy within Washington, D.C. that continues the status quo push of the special interests and lobbyists that truly do control the larger seats of power at our political institutions. And I think this is perfectly represented by the ousting of BlackRock World Economic Forums like Jacinda Ardern, and of course career politicians like Joe Biden that are now in hot water after we're finding out how there was massive collusion between his administration and the DOJ when it came to keeping a lot of bad information about him secret, not investigating a lot of his true corrupt business policies, as we have recently found out that the DOJ colluded with the White House to keep the classified document scandal that we're learning about away from the general public right before the midterm elections. This, as we're also finding out that the FBI has searched Biden's home and now has found even more classified materials, now finding 6 more classified documents at his home just moments ago. This, of course, is a big deal as the FBI is thinking about even raiding and searching more of Biden's residencies, as the President of the United States is surprisingly in a lot of hot water by the same institutions that have protected him for a very long time. And seeing the corporate media criticize him, seeing the FBI and DOJ actually search his residencies, to me personally points that there is some kind of larger power struggle within Washington, D.C., as there most likely is an argument unfolding right now between the Biden administration and the real powers that be that do control the DOJ, the FBI, and the corporate media that have had just a very sharp turn against Biden and his presidency. Now, what's really going on here, especially with this DOJ investigation? Well, let's be honest here with ourselves. We can only speculate for now, as one of the bigger possibilities here is that the President of the United States wants to run for re-election, and a lot of powerful people who see that he will not win are telling him not to. I think there is a bigger bargain when it comes to power politics at play here that I think is worth explaining. Or it could be that there could be bigger plans at foot here, especially when it comes to crashing the economy or launching some kind of other second larger psyop against the American people that the Biden administration might be standing in the way of or trying to rush through personally themselves. Whatever it may be, I think it's important to note here that understanding how things really work in Washington, D.C., that there are bigger things at play here than, of course, just some classified documents here. There, of course, is a lot of clear hypocrisy when it comes to the former president of the United States having his home raided by the FBI instead of just searched. This as Republicans are saying that they're angry and astonished at everything that's unfolding right now, with U.S. senators like Ted Cruz asking themselves, quote, again, how in the hell do they keep screwing this up? Which I think is an important question worth asking right now, as of course politics is a very dirty game. It has no allegiances to the puppets that serve them, that are only temporary placeholders for the larger powers at hand that usually rule under the cover of secrecy and darkness. What do you think is really going on here? Or is this just Biden forgetting classified documents everywhere? What do you think is really going on here? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys purchasing t-shirts, sharing this video, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.